my channel. I'm so pleased you are here again. Thank you for the subscribers. Thanks to the subscribers, and thanks to the views and the likes. The likes are so wonderful. To the extent YouTube, they appreciated those that have liked my videos. And I hope and I'm so sure that you are getting a lot of things from it. Today what I'll do, we'll be talking about differentiation. We'll be talking about differentiation. Now, onto my board, the major topic I'll be doing today is differentiation of polynomial functions. Over time, when I made my research, we need to understand that differentiation came from the idea of calculus. Differentiation came from the idea of calculus. And calculus majorly gave birth to two things. It gave birth to what? Differentiation and integration. It gave birth to differentiation and integration. But what are we talking about majorly is differentiation. And with time, and I'm sure with all the subtopics, I'll now go to integration because we have a lot of things to do with this. So let's start. Now, the question is, what is a polynomial? A polynomial is a function that constitutes a coefficient, variable, and power, which can be added, subtracted, multiplied. You can also divide. Now look at this. When you have ax raised power n, this is the coefficient, this is the variable, and this is the power or index or exponent. So this is what you need to know about polynomial. A very good example of polynomial is when you have 3x raised to power 5 plus 6x plus 9. This is polynomials. Are you agree? And of course, linear is having a power of 1, quadratic is having a power of 2, and cubic is having a power of 3. So let's start. Let's say I have a question like this. And the question is y equals 3x raised to power 2 plus 6x plus 10. The question is find the y, the x. The question is find the y, the x. There's something I want you to understand today. When it comes to differentiation, I'm still going to teach you the concept, the basic concept of differentiation, but there's one key thing you must know. When you have the y, the x, it means that you should look for what? The first derivative. When you have the square y over the x squared, it means that is what? The second derivative. When you have the cube y over the x cube, that is what? The third derivative. But majorly, when you are taking JAM, NECO, this basic secondary square science, it's better you just put your focus on this. They will rarely give you questions from second derivative. Are you agree? So, look at it. Y equals 3x squared plus 6x plus 10. Then find the y, the x. Very simple. What we should know is there are some standard basic rules in differentiation. It's actually called standard derivatives. And these derivatives are, by my right hand side, or let me just put it here, it's y, the y, the x. When you have sin x is cos x. When you have cos x is minus sin x. When you have sin x is what? Sec square x. When you have in x is what? 1 over x. When you have ex is what? Ex. When you have the polynomial functions, which is xn, that is nx, n minus 1. When you have a constant like 20, you have 0. I always tell my students this: before you differentiate, you should be able to tell what function are you dealing with. How do we know these functions? From here to this place, they are called trigonometric functions. These functions are called trigonometric function. This function is called inverse function. This function is called exponential function. This function is called polynomial function. I see it. So this function is called polynomial function, and this is a what? A constant. So now, if you look at the headlines is differentiation of polynomial function. So which of these functions are we dealing with? We are dealing with what? This particular rule, which is xn, nx, n minus 1, which is a polynomial function. So coming to my board, if I'm to solve this question, it means that where I have y equals to 3x squared plus 6x plus 10, so a dy dx of this will be what? Since this is coming down, 2 will come down, that will be 2 times 3x raised to power what? 2 minus 1. Because this one is having a coefficient of 1 which you cannot see. And when this n comes down, that will be n times 1 x n minus 1. That's exactly what I've done here. So when this comes down, so this becomes nx n minus 1. So that is why how polynomial function was generated. So with this, so the same thing will go to this. Then you have admitted that there's a 1 you cannot see here. This one comes down. That's 1 times 6 x raised by what? 1 minus 1 plus, in indices, there's a law called zeroth law. And that law states that n raised by 0 is 1. You agree with me that this can also have x raised by 0. If I have x raised by 0 here, then this 0 will come down. It can also be 0 times what? 10 x raised by what? 0. So with this class, that gives you 6x, 2 minus 1 is 1, plus 6x raised by 0, plus this is what? 0. And of course, from 0 law, x raised by 0 is what? 1. So that gives you what? 6x plus 6. So that is the what? The final answer. And by the grace of God, I just solved this successfully. Are you with me? So this phase is actually very, very